guys, welcome to another conversation with B. So today we're talking about not announcing the burial of your seed. Like, do not announce the burial of your seed. And when I talk about the burial of your seed, I'm really just talking about the ideas that we have, the plans that we have, the things that we want to start up. There's so many things that we're investing in right now, but they're at a premature stage, and that's why I'm calling it a seed. And I really just want to use a mango tree as an example. You see, when a mango tree is being planted, it's really just the seed that's put into the ground. And when the seed is being put into the ground, it's very vulnerable to attack, and anything can happen because it can easily be destroyed. It can even be removed from the ground and you wouldn't realize that it was removed from the ground. Eventually, with time, you just come to realization that it's not growing. So obviously someone took it away or something happened to it. Even with our ideas and our plans, you see, when they're in seed form, when they're in a premature form and have a plan or a vision and we want to announce it to everyone, it's not everyone that's really ready to support our vision. It's not everyone that wants to be happy when we are happy. Not everyone wants to see you succeed, sadly, and not everyone can support your vision because it's not yours, it's not their seed, it's your seed, and no one better has the vision than the vision carrier. So we should really be sensitive who we even share our visions with, who we share our plans with and our goals with. Of course, no man is an island. We can't just do everything on our own. So there are people that we need to get the right information from. There are people that we need to get wisdom from. There are people that we need to get direction from, and even maybe investors if it's something that we need people to help us with the investment and just starting up. But then it's highly unnecessary for us to just go about announcing our plans to just everyone and anyone, especially when they are still in their premature form. Because if we're at a stage where we're not psychologically stable enough, and be explaining your plan and your visions to your plan or your goal to someone, and they can actually talk you out of it. Why? Because you do not really fully understand it yourself. You do not really fully see it coming to completion yourself. You're not really at a stage where you can back it. You're not at a stage where you can support it fully. You're not at a stage where you can't easily be swayed away from your own idea. So let's really just respect times and seasons and just know that not everything has to be shared when it's still in its seed form. Not everything has to be shared when it's still premature, because it can easily be destroyed. And if it was an opportunity, it can even be taken away from you. Someone can just come and jeopardize your opportunity in one way or another because it was at a stage where it was very much vulnerable to attack. And even when we go to scripture, we read so much about time and chance, about things happening at their appointed time. This is really just to show that things don't just happen. In most cases, we have to be patient. In most cases, we have to wait a certain period before we can go about announcing things, before we can see the physical manifestation of things and allow other people to also see the physical manifestation of things. If we read Genesis 18, I'm so sure we're all familiar with the story of Sarah. If not, yes, read about it. You see, Sarah had been barren for so long, and then the Lord appeared to them, telling them that they were going to have a son with her husband Abraham. Sarah laughed when she was told that she was going to have a son, obviously because she was too old at the time. But the Lord asked Abraham to say, why did Sarah laugh? The Lord, is anything too hard for me? At the appointed time, Sarah shall have a son. And then when we read further, we see in chapter 21, verse 1 to 3, it explains how at that set time indeed, the word of the Lord did come through and Sarah did have a son despite being barren for so long. But it had to happen at the set time, at the appointed time. And also use the example of Joseph. Joseph, if we read Genesis 37, he was the youngest of his brothers and he had dreams. In his dreams, he would have dominion over them. And obviously, that's not something that they would be excited about. He once had this dream where his sheep was standing upright and his brothers' sheep were all upright, but they were bowing down to him, and he explained it to him and they were so angry that eventually, when we read further, we realize that they sold him into slavery. Then he ended up in prison. In prison, he ended up interpreting Pharaoh's dream, and that led him to becoming second in command, being Pharaoh being greater than him, and he was actually the governor of the land. And it did so happen that he did have dominion over his brothers after some time. But at that point, when the vision was still in seed form, it wasn't something that they could understand. It wasn't something that they could accept. It wasn't something they were willing to just tolerate, because it was in seed form. It was something that he had to carry on his own and believe on his own. And at the set time, at the appointed time. He did have dominion over them, and he helped his family in a time of famine. When they had famine, because he was second in command, he was able to be of assistance to his brothers in a position that was higher than them. But it had to happen at an appointed time. To tell people things in premature form, or in a form where they haven't really come to fruition, in a form where they haven't really manifested, people won't understand, because they're not the ones that are carrying that thing. They will not understand because they're not the ones that have the vision, that have the drive, that have the motivation. So really, today's conversation is just a reminder on how we should really be sensitive to times and seasons. We should really be patient. We should really just know who to open up to, just who we can just tell our plans and our goals and our ideas, and when is the right time for us to now just let them be public. Guys, today's conversation was just a reminder that let us not announce things when they are in their seed form. Let's give things time. Things have time, things have a season, things have an appointed time when they can be announced, an appointed time when they can actually be seen and heard by everyone. But let us take precaution not to announce things prematurely, because we put them at harm, we put them at risk of being destroyed. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe.